Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Lara and I do book reviews. In this video, I will be reviewing another one of the books that I read this month for the month of January. This next book I'm going to talk about is The Siren by Kiera Cass. And so this one I gave a 3-star rating out of 5. So let's dive into it. So, like I said, I rated this book a 3 out of 5 stars. And so this book is about a young girl at the age of about 17 who is in a shipwreck, and turns out the shipwreck and everyone's death on it is the cause of sirens. And I'm sure everyone knows what the myth of what sirens are, so I won't get too deep into it. But overall, she just prays out loud to whoever and is like, please, I'll do whatever you want. Like, please, I want to live. The ocean hears her. The ocean sends the sirens to her, and they're like, you want to live? You're willing to do anything? And she says, yes, I'm willing to do anything. So they invite her to become a siren for the next, I want to say 70 years? 70 or 80 years, I think it was. But she accepts, and then it jumps forward and she's 30 years into her, servitude to the ocean. We find that she is a bit depressed, doesn't really fit in with anybody. She's quiet, she's reserved, which there's nothing wrong with all that. But it is almost like it's a detriment to her. And the other girls that are sirens with her are like, hey, like, you gotta learn how to be quote unquote a normal person, so that when you do stop being a siren, then you can assimilate into society normally. And so she tries, but no matter how hard she tries, she can't just be like the other girls who go out and party and all that. And then eventually we see her continue with this struggle. She meets a boy who, in essence, is super sweet to her. He accepts her, even though she refuses to talk, because the reason why she can't talk or say anything around people outside of the other sirens is because even if she was to simply say a word, they instantly try and just go find a body of water and drown. And so they have to become or act like they're mute around other people. So they have to they've learned sign language so that they can communicate, or they write on whiteboards or write on pieces of paper. And so but the main character, Kaylin, she meets a boy who is practically, like, accepts her, no questions asked, thinks she's wonderful and all this. And so she realizes, like, that she could potentially be a normal human being when she's around this guy, whose name is Akilin? Akinley, I think is how you pronounce it. And so eventually she, even though they don't really spend a whole lot of time together, she practically falls in love with him, even though she knows that the ocean doesn't accept, like, moms, wives, that kind of thing. Like, the sirens have to be single without any children or anything, because the ocean doesn't want to share, or doesn't think she should share. And so that's where Kaylin struggles throughout the book. And then eventually the ocean finds out and I will leave it at that so that if you do decide to read this book, then I won't spoil the ending for you. I do think that the plot was pretty good overall. I think there could have been, I guess you can say, that it's, like, I do think that there could have been a bit more depth to the characters. I want to say especially for the main character, Kaylin, though, like, her storyline is the one that the book is more written from her perspective, and so we do get a lot from her, but it's almost like it only goes like so deep. And so I think that one of the other characters who we don't really see hardly at all, we get the most depth from. And so that was a bit odd with that. But at the same time, it was kind of, I guess, the depth I wanted to see just across the board. But I also know that some books, you can either have storyline or depth. And sometimes it can't intermingle, or it'll just get too lengthy, too wordy, and all that. But I think there are other stories who can do well with one or the other. But I think this one definitely kind of played kind of on that fine line of, oh, should we not? But, and so I also really liked, one of the things that I did like about this book was how the main character, Kaylin, did show guilt and remorse over what she was having to do, which was sing to then cause shipwrecks to, I guess you can say, feed the ocean. And so they were having to cause the shipwrecks and cause the people on those ships to become unalive to feed the ocean. And so I liked that aspect of how, like, she became depressed as the book goes on because of that guilt, and just how that played into how she was towing that line of trying to figure out how to, I guess, both have a normal life and live remorsefully because of those people. Because she does have a scrapbook that she tries to learn about all the people that were on those ships. But eventually she realizes that it just holds her back. And so she realizes that she has to forgive herself and everything. And so I really liked that aspect, but I think it was a bit slow in getting there. And so I also liked the aspect of how, again, trying not to spoil too much of the book, but I like how towards the end of the book, the boy does end up hearing Kaylin's voice, and he does almost become unalive, but she does save him. But eventually, they both get sick, so her and the other girls have to figure out a way to try and save her and the boy. And so I did like the aspect that the girls finally came together and became more like a sisterhood, and became more close and tight-knit because they had one thing to focus on. But yeah, that was The Siren by Kiera Cass. Again, I gave it a 3 out of 5. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this book review for The Siren by Kiera Cass. And if y'all did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you have read this book, please let me know what your thoughts are down in the comments below. And I look forward to talking to y'all in the next video. Bye, guys.